Hey YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. How's it going? There's a movie that I've seen part of a while back that I've seen basically most of the whole movie now at this point. Um, and so, of course, at the end. And this is a movie about a guy whose name is Petey Green, and the name of the movie is Talk to Me. And of course, Petey Green was played by Don Cheadle. And we're definitely talking about the 60s and the 70s, tail end of its early 80s, but it's basically the late 60s, 70s, and early 80s in Washington, D.C., and basically, for the most part, kind of more focused around, well, I guess you could say, more the African American or black uh, culture in Washington, D.C., and the East Coast in general. That's kind of the um, I guess you could say the dominant culture in the movie. And definitely we're talking more blue collar, working class, poor black folks that were, but at least PD kind of came from that um, demographic, basically. If you guys haven't seen this movie, it's not a bad movie. It's worth seeing. There's a little bit of off-color stuff, as you could probably guess, but it's just. So Petey Green apparently was the original shock jock before Howard Stern, and I just was doing a little bit of reading about this. This is something that you don't really don't we don't really know about this unless we're older, and by older I mean someone closer to my parents' age, because or yeah, you'd have to be around when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. You have to actually remember it. That age of person. So that's, I mean, who knows about Petey Green? Well, uh, you know, yeah. I mean, like, who remembers him? Definitely not me. I don't remember hearing him. This is before my time, but he died pretty young, like 52 or something like that. I have a few thoughts, as you could probably guess, about this movie, and one of the things that goes without saying is, sure, it would be great if more people knew who he was that don't know who he was. Um, there's always the questions of, um, like, well, I'm trying to think how to get into this a little bit because there's a lot of stuff that people are talking about already that I'm trying not to repeat too much, but there are problems, like, as we know, racial problems and things that still go on. They're not completely 100% resolved, you know. But we are, I guess, in better shape, than in the past. Some might not say that, but I think we are. Um, yeah, and regarding racial uh, relations between different people of different races, um, yeah, things are better in my opinion. But there's some things that come to mind with this movie, and it might be a good idea if you want to see the movie first and then skip the rest of this video, and then you can watch it, or whatever you want to do it, or if you just want to watch the video, it's fine too. So this is kind of more of a review of the movie, and without spoiling anything too much, but of course also mentioning things that are going on in this movie. Um, Personally, I mean, it's a great movie. It really is. I mean, Don Cheadle is a great actor. He's one of the best. Um, and some of you were expecting me to say something like, "Oh, he's one of the best black actors. He's one of the best Afro American actors." He's just a great actor. Period. I think he was in Ocean's 11, 12. I mean, that was kind of that whole movie, along with the earlier one, which is a completely different idea. It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World. Some movies have several to a dozen well-known actors and actresses in them. There was a woman version of the Ocean's movies that I thought was stupid and cheesy, but whatever. Like so many other attempts at that recently, but no. So Don Cheadle's a solid actor. He was great. He was awesome. I just don't remember P.D. Green personally. I've had to go off of this movie, and I'm certainly not black, and I don't live in Washington D.C. So like but still, despite all that, sure. I mean, like, as you could probably guess, this is the sort of movie that a lot of people want to see right now, and obviously the reasons are all these racial riots and things. Not just that, but yeah. So the biggest question I have, I don't know. It's kind of like this. How are we viewing people these days of different races in general? And I look at myself, but it's something we should all ask ourselves. How do we view people of different races? And are we treating people better than in the past? That's kind of and it's the same deal with Martin Luther King Jr. That's the question. Because there's a lot of crud that still happens to people. That's racial. It's racist, right? But if we ourselves are blameless, then we're blameless. There's always the things though that play into this that have to do with not doing enough. So you aren't doing anything negative toward other people of other races, and black or otherwise. You're not a cause of you're not a source of the problem, right? But maybe you're not doing enough to fight racism, or you're just kind of very neutral, or you're staying out of it, right? And there's always the questions of is that the wisest course of action, or is that being afraid? Is that kind of just silently voice, because you're silent, or you're not doing anything? Is that your kind of a way of saying I approve of these bad things that are happening? The funny thing about racism is that there's so many other things that are evil and wrong that happen to people that aren't racist, but they're still wrong. And so it's like you're picking one thing out of so many other things that things still are not right. We haven't got to the point where it's heaven yet. That's still no excuse. We should still try to make this world as much like heaven as we can for our entire lives. We can never just say, give up. No. We're supposed to do our best, make this world a better place. For real. It's not just a stupid little saying. That's a very real thing that we all ought to be about doing. So, once you've asked the questions of how am I doing, and then there's the question of am I not doing enough, or if I don't know what to do, how can I find out how I can help with racial issues? What can I do, and how can I help? And if for instance, right now, everybody I know, well, actually, we do have people in. Let me backtrack here. There's a lot of people that just give you a funny look, unless you're in the Mountain West or Utah or something. So it's Washington, but the reason I said that is there are people in my area that are black, but it's not like I don't live in an inner city. I live in Kenmore, Washington, and so. But there's a family in our neighborhood that's black. Wouldn't want to, you know. Always the thing like, you don't want to get to know somebody just because they're black. It's like, but what I'm trying to say is that there are people, even though this area is very white and Asian and stuff, that whatever there are people that are black as well, and other ethnicities. So I just don't know them personally, but even if we don't know anybody personally, not too many people that are black, maybe, or we do, either way. There's always a question of, I don't know. There's a lot of questions you could ask, I guess. But do you ever feel out of your element just because someone's a certain ethnicity or race? And it's good it's good to have a feeling of no, you don't feel too awkward. No, it's actually not bad, not an issue at all. It's only an issue. You only have an issue with people if something's actually wrong with a person, like more in a moral sense. If someone's really sketchy or something, that's what we usually get those weird feelings. But obviously there are other. If you have experiences in life, you just have known a lot of scummy people of a certain race, you're probably not going to treat people of that race very well. But I want to get into some other stuff here a little bit. So the movie's great. That's all I want to say about this. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but to give you an idea what Petey Greene is like, is at least how Don Cheadle played him. And again, I'd have to confirm this with somebody who's older than me by a fair amount, right? Yeah, he's rough around the edges, definitely. Blue collar. Well, not really. Like blue collar, I mean, he was not well to do, at least until he made a lot of money, being a radio guy. Shock, but yeah, pretty much a decent guy overall, but had a lot of vices. Not a godly man by any stretch of the imagination, but not a especially wicked man. Not a bad man. Just yeah. There are things to admire about him. But usually the movie but it showed everything. You see the whole picture, and yeah, he has some great qualities. It was interesting that there's always that element with a lot of people. Well, some people, when you get more successful, when you earn more money, or whatever, we accomplish things in life, or whatever it is. Do we ever lose sight of what it is that our dreams were when we were younger, and do we ever abandon them, or do we give up things because you realize that maybe you went in a direction in life that you really didn't really want to go fully? And that's a theme in this movie, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's so many great things. But getting back to, again, all these thoughts I have, it's kind of like you can be angry, you could be sad, you could be thoughtful about these sorts of things. However someone thinks about this stuff, it kind of is either making the problem worse or better. That's probably the best thing I could say about this whole thing. But, get the racial riots and everything. Being thoughtful about this sort of thing can be a very good thing as long as it doesn't take over your life. If it takes over your life, hopefully you're making money on it, or it's an uplifting thing. It often can't be. It often isn't. But if you're sad, that's to be expected. If you're angry, anger leads to the dark side. Right? I don't have to quote Yoda here. It's just that anger is a more dangerous emotion because you get angry, I think you hurt somebody. That's not good. We don't want that, right? And other feelings as well. You just have to sort out. We have to sort out. Again, is this helping the problem go away? Not go away, like not hide it. But is this helping? Is my are my thoughts and actions and whatever moods, are they helping to resolve this issue, or are they making it worse? All right, leave me thoughts and comments below. I'll catch you later. Take care. Take care. Bye.